Hey there, fellow gamers, welcome back to my channel. Today, we're diving into the exciting world of Azeroth as we explore the reasons why you should or shouldn't play the legendary MMORPG World of Warcraft. Sit tight, grab a drink, 2 slices of pizza, and an open mind. World of Warcraft, often hailed as the king of MMORPGs, has been captivating players around the globe for over a decade. But is it the right game for you? Let's find out. In this video, we'll present you with a balanced view discussing both the compelling reasons why you should give it a shot and the potential downsides you need to consider. Now, the timing of this video is important with the new customization World of Warcraft is adding to Warlock pets, the new augmentation Evoker, and changes to affixes and PvP gearing in the Dragonflight expansion. We will dive into all of that and more. Now, first up, let's explore the reasons why you should play World of Warcraft. First, let's talk about the lore. The lore of Warcraft stretches back thousands of years with intricate tales of ancient civilizations, heroic figures, and world-shaping events. From the rise and fall of mighty empires to cataclysmic conflicts, the lore presents a compelling tapestry of history that spans multiple continents and realms. While lore is filled with epic storylines that captivate players' imaginations, the ongoing conflict between the Horde and Alliance, the eternal struggle between the forces of light and darkness, and the countless quests and adventures in various expansions all contribute to an immersive and engaging narrative experience. Warcraft lore introduces a wide array of memorable characters, each with their own unique backgrounds and motivations. Whether it's iconic figures like Arthas Menethil, Illidan Stormrage, or Jaina Proudmoore, or lesser known but equally fascinating individuals, the characters bring the lore to life and offer players a chance to connect emotionally with their stories. World of Warcraft is a massive world filled with mythology and mysteries. The Warcraft universe draws inspiration from real-world mythologies, weaving them into its own mythos. From Norse and Greek mythologies to Celtic folklore, the lore incorporates these elements to create a sense of depth and wonder. Furthermore, it presents mysteries and hidden secrets that encourage exploration and speculation, such as the origins of the Titans or the true nature of the old gods. This truly is a world you can get lost in and appreciate at the same time. Some content I and other creators make is based around just the zones and lore surrounding them. World of Warcraft has a great community with shared experiences. WoW's lore has a passionate and dedicated community of players who love to discuss and theorize about the stories and characters. Engaging with this community allows new viewers to connect with others who share their passion, exchanging insights and theories that enhance the overall experience of delving into the lore, including me. I really enjoy making content on World of Warcraft, and the overall community is doing very well. World of Warcraft can provide you with escapism. Speaking on the lore of the game, you start to dive into what World of Warcraft can mean to a lot of people. For me and many others, it allows you to forget about responsibilities, stress, and life in general for a little while. Whether it is diving into relaxing professions, running dungeons, or leveling up another character, you are sure to escape into another world. I have been playing for about 12 years with some gaps in my history and have had much different stress as a 14-year-old than now as a 26-year-old. And throughout that time, World of Warcraft has been a great place to relax and forget about life. The professions also add to that escapism by allowing the player to partake in fishing, cooking, archaeology, herbalism, mining, just to name a few, and it can be very relaxing and profitable in World of Warcraft. I personally have spent hundreds of hours doing all of these activities and then selling the materials in the auction house or leveling up a profession. Overall content as of lately. I say as of lately, as World of Warcraft has historically had great content and then complete gaps of content. So this particular point is a positive and a negative. But speaking on the current state of the game, it has been delivering great content through the Dragonflight expansion. Perfect time to jump in with lots to do. World of Warcraft also offers both PvP and PvE in-game content. Now, PvE content can be pretty exciting with the introduction of a new Mythic Plus dungeon pool every 4 to 5 months, along with a raid. PvP, on the other hand, is pretty straightforward and offers some cool cosmetic looks, achievements, PvP-specific mounts, and gameplay. MMO, but can be a single player for the most part. WoW is definitely an MMO, but it has evolved a lot to where players can achieve virtually all content without really communicating too much. They can also be enjoyed with lots of communication, if you choose through a guild or friends. I wanted to touch on this point as some people do not want to socialize, but just enjoy the content. So it's nice to know WoW can cater to that if you want that. World of Warcraft's large collection of unique mounts. WoW has over 800 mounts, and growing constantly. This includes frogs, clouds, wolves, kodos, jellyfish, trikes, and of course, dragons. With the addition of dragon riding and the dragon mounts, it has opened the door to customize your mounts, allowing for a lot of really unique looks. I expect WoW to build upon this type of customization on future patches and expansions. Now, the role-playing aspect of World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft has many race and class options that allow for lots of combinations. Couple that with 12 professions, and you can play as a Tauren warrior blacksmith, or creating powerful potions as in Affliction Warlock. Speaking of Warlock, in patch 10.1.5 that released just a few days ago, you are able to change the look of your minions. In the Dragonflight expansion, they have put a heavier emphasis on professions through the crafting orders, and this allows you to roleplay with different jobs much easier. There are also role-playing dedicated realms you can join if you want to play with like-minded players. The pet system in World of Warcraft. If you like Pokemon, you will enjoy the pet system within World of Warcraft. There are over 1,000 pets that fit with 10 different groups, like mechanical or aquatic. This is fun to collect by itself, but you can also level them up and take on other players or daily world NPC challenges to get valuable pet items. Gameplay in general. This is definitely a strong suit due to the amount of classes and specializations in the game. Currently, there are 13 classes and 39 specs. These range from melee and range damage to tanking and healing. Just recently, Blizzard added the long-awaited support spec, first one being the augmentation of Ochre. This opens the door for many spec class options in the future and is definitely a huge strong point with the amount of replay ability it adds. Now it's time to explore the other side of the coin, the reasons why you might want to approach World of Warcraft with caution. The art style of World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft has its own brand of unique, almost cartoony art. In my opinion, it is actually one of its strongest attributes. But the reason I put it in this category is because it is not a realistic looking game. Looking at Black Desert Online or New World, we will see games that are supposed to replicate the real world to some capacity. If you are looking for top-tier realistic graphics, I would say this is not the game for you. Now the grind. As of the most recent expansion, the grind has gotten a lot better, and it has been getting better progressively since vanilla or the original World of Warcraft, but it is still a grind. The grind comes in many ways, but here are a few common grinds. The mount grind. At the mercy of RNG, otherwise known as random number generators, you may end up having some really bad luck on drop rates. One of the recent patches actually increased the drop rate of some mounts, so this is slightly better, but overall you will hear stories of people grinding Icecrown Citadel for years. That's right, years, for a mount. Now this is pretty extreme, but if you want to catch them all, then you would almost certainly run into this. The gear grind. The initial gearing process at max level is pretty smooth and simple, but once you get into the top mythic pluses and raids, it can feel like a pretty difficult and repetitive task to get incremental upgrades. The PvP raiding grind. This is in itself a grind. We will dig a bit deeper into PvP in the next point, but the reality is PvP is just very grindy right now, and it's not gear grinding as much as it is raiding grinding. They have recently made a beautiful change to gearing where Honor gear has the same item level across the board, and Conquest gear has slightly better item level, but that item level is the same across all ratings. Previously, you had to get your rating up to increase your PvP item level, but this is not the case now. You'll still need to grind out those precious Conquest points though. The leveling grind. The last grind. Leveling has improved a lot as well, but it can get repetitive as you run through different alts. This is mostly due to the quest structure, which doesn't really change too much as you level up. If you follow the story, the quests might not seem as repetitive, but they have very similar objectives. The PvP endgame is lacking and has been the same for some time. PvP can be very repetitive. If you like arenas, then you just run arenas constantly. Sure, the arenas physically change, but it's pretty much the same. If you like rated battlegrounds, you can run these as well, but you would need to find a group and typically a fair amount of communication, and having the meta class is more or less required, which just overall seems not fun. Imbalance of classes and specs, especially with PvP. Speaking of the meta, PvP is the king of pushing meta, and World of Warcraft honestly struggles to maintain a good balance for all classes. Some classes are not only meta at times, but it can feel like an exploit when players use them. Couple that with Blizzard not pushing nerfs and buffs out timely, and you are stuck in a perpetual state of no control. That is, unless you get lucky, and you are the meta. Then, well, it's pretty fun. As for PvE, there is a meta for sure, but honestly, gear tops the meta in a lot of ways. You do not get this type of option with PvP though, due to item level being the same across the board. Very high level rating can be difficult to get in and succeed without being in a guild. This goes back to one of WoW's fundamental rules, and that is group content always performs better than pugs. WoW should really look at more content focused on 7-man or 8-man than 10 or 25, and it might be easier to get into raiding. But due to the numbers needed, there just isn't very many options, and you are at the mercy of long-time WoW players. The player base can be toxic or hard to play with. Now that we got through all of the PvP and PvE content, I can speak on the player base themselves. Now, I have met a lot of great people, and I actually pug more than anything. I achieve pretty high Mythic Plus ratings on a healer and a tank and enjoy it quite a bit. Now with that out of the way, I can say that you will definitely hear an insult before a compliment. Whether they are truly trying to help you understand the game or holding in their anger, it's hard to tell but easy to irritate players. The consistent subscription fee. This is not a secret and has been the model for years. You have to pay a minimum fee of $13 a month plus a $60-ish expansion every 2 years to keep playing the most up-to-date content. This can be daunting to people who just want to buy and play. I know it took a lot, and I mean a lot, of convincing as a 14-year-old to get my mother to pay for my subscription every month. Shout out to my mama though. With the expansion comes a level cap that increases every 2 years. Speaking of the purchase you make every 2 years, the level cap and therefore gear increases every 2 years. What this means is you cannot remain top dog for long and will have to grind a bit more after you hit max level and a new expansion comes out. This is the model and will not be changing anytime soon. The endgame can be repetitive on all levels. This loops together the grind point as well as the repetition of PvP and adds in anything else you are looking to do. As an example, if you want to get PvE gear, you run the same pool of Mythic Pluses or raids for this season. A season lasts about 4 to 5 months. If you want PvP gear, once you get your Honor gear, you will run arenas, 2v2, 3v3, or rated battlegrounds. And if you want money or rep, you do world quests or maybe some money farms, and that quickly wraps up the end game, which can burn a player out. There is definitely a learning curve. And with the increased speed in which you can level, coupled with the fact that other people leveling are probably on their alts and are not actual new players, you may be unprepared for in-game content, which consists of learning mechanics for boss and mob fights or learning other class abilities for PvP. Speaking on Mythic Pluses specifically, they have affixes, which are a controversial point in the WoW community. Essentially, it fixes our added gameplay elements that make the Mythic Plus difficult dungeons you are doing more, difficult. By adding slowdown effects at random times or added layers of damage, both avoidable and unavoidable, Blizzard did, however, make some recent changes in May of this year to help the issues surrounding affixes, but they are still here and causing complaints. And there we have it. Those are my personal reasons why you should or shouldn't check World of Warcraft out. I personally recommend it overall, but I know it's not for everybody. Thanks for watching, give me a like and subscribe for more World of Warcraft content.